If I was paid every time someone made a negative comment about K53, I would probably not have to teach people how to do K53 so that I can make a living. The number of times I've been in a conversation where someone said that K53 is stupid is numerous. If someone makes a comment like that, I respond in different ways. Let's say the person making the comment doesn't know what I do for a living, and it's in conversation that the comment is made. I raise my hand. Why? Because it draws attention. Someone will usually ask me why I'm raising my hand, at which I'll reply, because I want to ask a question. What is your question, they ask. I ask another question. What does K53 stand for? At that point, people quickly start looking around as if they're looking for something. Sometimes, when the comment is made, I respond by asking people whether they think that the Germans, Canadians, and Australians are rather clever or dumb, at which they always say clever, with a confused look on their faces. I then have a follow-up question. Why then do you think they accept the South African driver's license? Do you know that you can go and drive on the Autobahn in Germany with your South African driver's license? You see, as I mentioned before in one of our other videos, the problem is education. When people are not given the rationale behind certain things that are uncomfortable to do, they inevitably end up thinking it's stupid. Like in K53, every time you stop, you have to engage your handbrake. When the instructor is asked, "But why?" and the answer is so that you don't roll, then anyone who thinks just a little bit will argue that there are certain places like downhills where I can't roll. If the objection is met with a "just do it because that's the way they want to in the test," then you've just taught someone that K53 is unreasonable. In other words, K53 is stupid. But this is not the case. To understand K53, you must be able to answer 3 questions. 1. What is K53? 2. What does K53 do? And 3. What does K53 prove? Let's start with the question, what is K53? K53 is a method of driving. Just like ballet is a method of dancing. Now let's say that you can do ballroom dancing, and you show up doing ballroom at a ballet competition. Does it mean that you can't dance? No. But what will the result be since you entered a ballet competition? You will probably score a nice round 0. I've seen many people fail the K53 test. Not because they can't drive, but because they can't drive the K53 method. Our next question is, what does K53 do? It's quite simple. K53 provides proof. Remember, the person examining you in your driver's test doesn't know you. So, you need to prove to your examiner that you can drive with the K53 method. That's exactly why no one who has their driver's license does K53. They don't have to prove it anymore. If they are ever pulled over by a traffic officer, the officer doesn't take them through a test to see whether they have the ability to drive. No. He asks for the proof that they have passed the test. He asks for their driver's license. In Afrikaans, we have a word for this. It's called a rijbewijs. So, K53 is a method that provides proof. And that brings us to our last question. What does K53 prove? K53 proves 3 things about your driving. 1. K53 proves that you can drive with a method that will work at all times. 2. K53 proves that you can drive with a method that will work in all places. And 3. K53 proves that you can drive with a method that will work for all people. Firstly, the K53 method will work at all times. It doesn't matter whether it's night or day. K53 will always work. It doesn't matter whether it's raining or not. K53 will always work. It doesn't matter whether you're on a dry road in Pretoria or on a frozen road in the Cape. K53 will always work. It's something that we as driving instructors always have to remind ourselves when we are busy driving around with our students in the wonderful South African climate. I always have to ask myself if the way my student just took that turn or slowed down, would that have worked on a frozen road? If not, that means they would have failed their test. To pass your driver's license, you will need to drive with the K53 method because it will work at all times. Secondly, the K53 method will work in all places. Are you able to take every turn in third gear? No. Are you able to take every turn in second and first gear? Yes. And that is exactly why you will lose points in your driver's test if you take a turn in a gear higher than second gear. Are you able to pull off everywhere without your handbrake and not roll? No. And that is why you will lose points in your test if you don't engage your handbrake every time you stop. To pass your driver's license, you will need to drive with the K53 method because it will work in all places. And finally, the K53 method will work for all people. Each and every one of us differ, from our individual fingerprints to our abilities. People differ. Some are smart and some are not. Some are fast and some are slow. We differ in our perceptibility, our reaction time, and our timing. The ways in which we differ are infinite. I've taught those students who are sports stars with a lot of ball sense. And I've taught those students with so little ball sense they can't even catch a joke. K53 even works for them. Unless someone is physically unable, the K53 method will teach them a method that will allow them to be competent drivers. So, no, K53 is not stupid. K53 is a very smart method to provide proof that you are able to drive. It works at all times, in all places, and for all people. At A&E Academy of Driving, we know the whys and the hows of the K53 method. Our students pass their tests not just with a driver's license, but also with the ability to be safe, comfortable drivers.